Hey, what's up? It's Mark with a quick video today to tell you why mushrooms are awesome for you. So the mushrooms we're talking about are medicinal mushrooms, not the magic ones. Although those are proven to be really interesting in the world of psychiatric treatments as well, but we're going to cover that on a different day. We're talking about medicinal mushrooms. The types of mushrooms that I'm talking about that are medicinal in purpose: shiitake, maitake, cordyceps, turkey tail, chaga. There's a whole bunch that are really, really good for you. My favorite, reishi. Well, let's talk about why these mushrooms are good for you. Mushrooms are a complete food. They're a complete species, believe it or not. So mushrooms have basically a stem, and they usually have like a button kind of shape on top for most part. Some of them grow on trees, some of them grow on decaying wood. There's a whole bunch of different places you'll find mushrooms floating around your yard. Now, if you find mushrooms floating around your yard, do not eat them unless you know what you're doing. I don't have a sweet clue what these mushrooms look like in nature, so don't send your questions to me to say, is this edible or not? The answer is, I don't know, and don't eat it. But people that know mushrooms, called mycologists, have been studying these mushrooms for years. And what's interesting to find is that they have so many benefits to the human body. Like I said, they're a complete species. They have a nervous system. They have an immune system. They have a body. They have a way to communicate. They create chemicals in defense of predators. They also have a way to talk to each other. They have these communication highways connecting them called mycelium. And these things help mushrooms communicate with what's going on inside the landscape around them. They're a brilliant food that it's interesting to see when we bring them into our bodies, they can have a lot of these awesome benefits. So what are some of the benefits of you consuming mushrooms? Number one, they're going to help you regulate your immune system. You can't say boost because they really don't do that. And when you understand how the immune system works, you can understand how you can't really boost it. The way that you boost your immune system is unfortunately get an infection or get something that requires your immune stimulation. So we have to say mushrooms regulate your immune system. So what I mean by that is, there's two real phases of you getting your immune system activated. One of them is the phase where your body ramps up its immune defenses, and the other one is when it calms down its immune defenses. And mushrooms, particularly the reishi, the maitake, the cordyceps, all these mushrooms have been known to kind of do work on helping to increase that stimulation of the immune system, so get the body primed and ready and anxious to get going. And that is also proven to help on the second phase, which is called the resolvent phase of that process as well. So it really helps with boosting your power to fight an infection or kind of get over an infection should you have something like that. Amazing benefits to fight the common cold and do all these things that we know are helpful to our systems to feel well. So that's benefit number one. They help your immune system. Number two, they're also loaded with nutrients. So vitamins, minerals, all these wonderful components from the certain types of fiber they contain actually feed your gut microbiome. So they're called polysaccharides. So these polysaccharides found in mushrooms feed your gut bugs, these very beneficial fibers, so you can grow out some of these friendly gut bugs. And what's interesting, as I've told you before, about 70% of your immune system is located in your belly. So if you're able to better tune your belly by taking in some certain foods that help feed your gut, you're probably going to feel better in the long term. So mushrooms might be a wonderful addition to your routine to help heal your gut. But they're also loaded with nutrients. So think about your multivitamin, multimineral. So they're going to have all those vitamins that you're looking for in nature found inside of them. The third benefit to taking mushrooms is going to be the fact that they can actually help you with creating some things that help with your memory and your mood. So like I said, they have a nervous system built inside of them. They have a way to communicate with each other through these chemicals that go through their networks. So when we consume these foods, we are taking in those chemicals as well, and they can help us regulate our systems. So one of the really interesting ones that these mushrooms have these same kind of neurotransmitters, neurochemicals that our bodies use as well. So consuming those might also help your mood. And a couple of really interesting mushrooms have been tested to look at memory, concentration, focus, all of these really awesome things. In particular, that mushroom cordyceps and lion's mane, those two mushrooms are amazing to see what they do cognitively. So someone that's having a struggle maybe with memory or concentration or focus, really interesting thing to see working in some mushrooms, does that help? The answer might be no, but really no harm in trying. So another great benefit to having mushrooms. And mushrooms are going to give you a lot of, the last benefit, I should say, before I jump into it, mushrooms are going to be one of those foods that's going to give you a lot of nutrients, a lot of plant-based substances that are very helpful for your body as a whole. And the calorie count's relatively low. So if you are in that position where you're worried about taking in certain calories, again, I'm not, but you might be in that position where you're worried about what you're taking in and what type of fibers you're taking in, all those kinds of things. Mushrooms are one of those foods that kind of sidestep most of those problems because they're just so damn good for you. Now, most people are going to have a really hard time finding reishi mushrooms growing in nature and cordyceps mushrooms growing in nature. These things are found primarily in places that are not Newfoundland. So they're found usually growing at really, really high altitudes in the case of cordyceps. And then reishi is found in a lot of these places where, there's a lot of humidity around. We don't really have that in our community. I'm not saying you can't find them, but they're around, but not a whole lot of concentration. So going to the grocery store, you might not be able to find all of these mushrooms I just rhymed off, which is why for me, I choose a supplement. So I use a supplement of a mushroom in a capsule. I'll put a link down below with a couple of different supplements that I do use that contain mushrooms. And again, really, really powerful help for me when I'm helping someone kind of balance their immune system. So trying to get to the point where I'm getting them out of an infectious phase, maybe out of an allergy phase or out of an acute reactive phase. Mushrooms are one of those tools that does a really, really good job at helping to provide that success that we're looking for. So I'll put a couple of those products that I use down in the email below. But just remember, mushrooms are one of those things that can sneak into your day, very helpful, very easy, not a whole lot of contraindications when it comes to mushrooms, and not a lot of stuff that it interferes with. Again, you want to talk to your doctor, talk to your pharmacist, or again, before you just take my word for it, do your own research on should I be taking mushrooms and what might they interact with. That'd be a great idea for you to do. But interestingly, mushrooms don't really have a whole lot of contraindications and they have a lot of benefits. So before you look at grabbing some mushrooms, quality is always king. So you want to make sure that these things aren't growing overseas somewhere in terrible conditions that are moldy and having all these problems. You really want to get somewhere that has what's called GMP certified or good manufacturing processing certified. You want to make sure you come get it from a trusted source. And a couple of people that I really listen to take advice from on mushrooms, the mushroom man himself, his name is Paul Stamets. In an email down, in a link down below, I'm going to put a link to some of the podcasts I've listened to, some of the books that he's written, some of his websites as well, so you can kind of learn more about mushrooms if you want to, and see if they're a part of your everyday routine. So thank you for listening today. Hopefully mushrooms can give your health a boost as well. I know they do for me. I use them every single day in my coffee. I use them in supplements, and I eat them on a weekly basis as well. So getting mushrooms, great idea. If you have questions, if you have concerns, if you need help, I'm here to help. Let me know how I can help you out in that case. I think I need some more mushrooms. Let me know how I can help you out in that case if it is indeed you. So have a great day. See you soon.